the opportunity to share on our program. And I have brought along Wayne Walden and Maricela Jimenez. They are very seasoned coaches with Pathfinders with several decades of coaching experience between them. And so they will help share on coaching on the process of coaching with Selma later on in the presentation. So I'm going to provide some information about Pathfinder's financial coaching services and how you can access those for your clients. And forgive me, we'll have to step out. I'm leaving for out of town. And so any questions that you have directed for me, you can direct to Maricela or Wayne, or Selma will probably be able to answer those. That programming questions, Wayne or Maricela can answer on my behalf after I step out. So let me get the presentation up. Okay, so this is Pathfinders. We have a mission to eliminate poverty from our community. We want to empower the people that we work with to find their path, not just to financial well-being, but social well-being as well. And we so appreciate all of the work that you guys are doing with domestic violence victims, because part of this well-being, we know the social well-being piece is so important. So, our financial coaching program is called Financial Freedom Journey. The financial freedom journey for our clients and potentially for your clients is going to include group coaching sessions. And these are small group coaching sessions, typically of 10 people or less, one on one coaching sessions, and some asset and credit building products, which I'll go over. So what does small group coaching include? And we've got a core curriculum, and we start with budgeting. Uh, Budgeting is foundational to financial health, but it's more than just spreadsheets and piles of receipts. Budgeting kind of starts with your family of origin, money habits, and thoughts. We bring forward into our adult lives some of the personal history that goes along with our family. So we're talking about clients who may come to us and say, "Oh, I'm not a saver. My family lives paycheck to paycheck, and we've always lived paycheck to paycheck." So they've kind of got some ingrained self-limiting beliefs that we want to talk about and let people start to recognize. So small group coaching on budgeting kind of helps people start to examine those things and their thoughts about money. And then it moves into some budgeting tools, budgeting exercises. There's a lot of different ways to budget. Our coaches are experts with that. And no one method is going to be right for every person. And so the budgeting small group course kind of introduces you to these topics and these ideas and these exercises. And then when a client makes individual appointments with the coach, that's where they can actually dig into bringing those paycheck stubs and bringing the receipts and looking at the individual tools and seeing what is going to be a good fit for them. So, our next small group topic is banking. Um, I always think this is really interesting. People are like, "Oh, well, banking, how big of a topic can that be?" And it's actually a pretty big topic. I love to share a story that I saw Maricela share, and this was probably 10 years ago when I was in one of Maricela's sessions, and she asked the question, "How did you choose your bank?" And so I'll ask everybody on the call to think about it. How did you first choose the first bank that you went to? And I'm going to bet that a lot of you just chose the bank that was closest to your house, or you chose the bank that your mother went to because that's the one that you had attended as a child. We hear those two answers so often. But that may not be the bank that best fits your needs. And I liken this to shopping for clothes. We typically don't go into a store and pick out a pair of pants and just pay for it and go home and never try it on until the day we're ready to wear it. And a bank is like that too. You need to pick a bank that is appropriate for you, that's got the products that are going to help you move forward. And so our banking group session helps clients begin to determine how to locate a bank and banking products that are going to best meet their needs. From there, we move into borrowing. Um, this is a big deal with a lot of clients that we serve. Pathfinder serves primarily low income clients up to moderate income clients. So we want to talk about understanding the loan process, understanding APRs, understanding predatory lending. A lot of our clients come to us. They may already be in situations where they're involved with predatory lending. We have seen this quite a bit with our domestic violence victims ourselves because folks are they're desperate and it can look like it's an okay deal and people may not understand the long-term impacts of some of these really, really high interest loans. So borrowing kind of helps people look at what's going to be okay, like what interest rate should I really even be looking for? What can I expect if I need to borrow? Um, so our next topic is credit. Credit's a big deal. Pathfinders looks at credit as an asset. And this sometimes is a really different thought for people. Some people will come to us saying, well, I don't access credit. It's better to pay cash for everything and not have any debt. But what we know is we live in a world that runs on credit. A credit score, just having a credit score, even if you're not accessing your credit, will save you tremendous amounts of money. We know that across the nation, if you have a good credit score, there are some really interesting statistics around this. If you have a positive credit score versus somebody that has a lower score, a 500 or a 550 score, the amount of money that you can save over your lifetime with that higher score is around $200,000. That sounds really exorbitant, but when you are looking at the cost of deposits to turn on your gas, water, or electric, or a phone, we did some testing here in our office. It was about 5 years ago, and we made some calls and we tried to get the rates just to turn on new electric service. With an 800 credit score, you could get electricity turned on with a zero deposit up to around $50 for the deposit. Where if you have a low score, those deposits could be as high as $500. So it also impacts things like the rates on your car insurance, and of course, interest rates on any larger loans, like for a car or a home that you may be seeking. So we like to talk to our clients about credit being an asset. People can make very low incomes and still have a good credit score. And so learning the components of the credit score, learning how to pull your credit score and keep up with it on an annual basis can really help people save money as they move into their financial future. So in our program, we have, as I mentioned before, the group sessions, the individual sessions, and then we want to focus on savings. This stat about 2.4 million North Texans can't afford an unexpected expense of $400. That is huge. And I like to share, some of you, maybe all of you, have heard the recommendation to have 3 or 6 months worth of living expenses in a savings account as a safety net. And we all know that having 3 or 6 months worth of liquid expenses in a savings account, that's a high ceiling for a lot of people. For a lot of people, that much savings can feel completely unattainable. But a $400 emergency savings account, it doesn't feel as unattainable. And we know that sometimes just having that small amount of money can prevent a cascade of other problems. So picture somebody blowing a tire and then not being able to make it to work, and that $400 could alleviate that. Or a child having to be homesick and a parent missing work for several days and then can't make the rent. So this baseline of $400 can really make a difference. And so we start with our dollar for dollar savings match up to 200. So if the client saves 200, deposits that into a savings account and demonstrates that, they have to show it to their coach, then we will match that deposit by ACH deposit. And then we have an extended match available where they can then save a small amount of money each month. So it's like $20 a month. And we do this through leverage funding with a partner, $20 a month for 5 months without taking it out. And at the end of the 5 months, that $100 that's been deposited will be matched with an additional $200 match. So it leaves the client with a baseline $700 emergency savings to get started with. We also have a small dollar credit building product. As I mentioned, with credit being an asset, helping clients build credit is really important, and it can be tough. If you've got a poor score and you can't get a credit card or a loan somewhere to begin building your credit, it's like, how do you get started? So with this product, it is zero interest, it's zero fee. It's a small dollar loan. It's just a $60 loan. And the clients do not have to qualify with a credit check. And they make a payment of just $5 a month. So it's $5 a month for 12 months for a $60 loan. They get the $60 at the end of the 12 months back in one lump sum deposited back to their account. But each month when the $5 payment is made, it is reported to all three credit bureaus. And we're seeing some pretty good increases. Around 86 points is the average increase, but if somebody comes to us with a zero score or they're not even showing it up at all because they're a credit ghost, then the gains can be really significant, starting at 500 or 600 points. Clients are able to access the credit building loan twice. So if they go through it and establish a score the first time and they need to go through it again, they're able to do that. It's really quick and easy. They do have to have a bank account for the $5 to be drafted from. And it's just a very short online form to fill out to get started. And they would get that information from the coach once they complete both their small group sessions and at least 2 individual sessions. So individual coaching, we say this is where the magic happens. Individual coaching is the secret sauce. Financial literacy is important, really important, but I liken this to, I like to use the donut story. You go to the doctor, your cholesterol is high, and the doctor says you got to stop eating donuts every morning for breakfast. And you know that, and you hear that, and you know donuts are not good for you. But as soon as a new donut place opens across the street, you're over there getting some donuts because they're great. And if you're like me, you just love some sweets in your life all the time. So just knowing something is not the answer to help people move forward. The coaching provides somebody to talk to. It gives you an accountability partner. And coaching, I like to describe it as having somebody in the passenger seat. It's like GPS. The client is driving and the coach is helping them work towards their goals. So as people are learning those budgeting tools, for instance, then in individual coaching, they can bring the check stubs and the receipts. In individual coaching, they can pull their credit and actually go through that line by line to see what's going on. So individual coaching can help clients just create those goals. And whatever the client's goals is, every client's goal will be different. So how do you get in touch with us? Super easy. You just text the word freedom in English to this phone number. If your clients are Spanish speaking, then they will text the word libertad in Spanish to the same phone number, and that will start them into a text chain that will allow them to fill out the enrollment documents and choose a session to get started. Now, I will say that for your clients, one of the reasons I wanted to bring Wayne and Maricela with us was that they are involved with this, the pilot program. And so if you needed to talk to a coach, then you could reach out directly to the coaches. So there's 2 ways y'all can do this. You can refer your clients directly in where they can do it on their own. We have, Wayne provides virtual sessions for both the groups and individuals every week. They will see the list of when those sessions are available when they do the text freedom. But if they want to come in, if they're local to us and they want to come in person, Maricela would be able to meet with them. And if you as an advocate need to connect with a coach and you just have a couple of questions, and I wanted to share their contact information so that you could reach one of our coaches directly. Give everybody a chance. And I'm going to I can email Brianna the document with everybody's contact information and the flyer for Text Freedom that I just showed so that everybody will have that. And that was a really quick, down and dirty financial coaching Pathfinders overview. So from here, I'm going to hand it over to Selma. And then if you have any questions relating to Pathfinders, just a reminder, y'all can address those to either Wayne or Maricela at the end of the training.
Oh, we just one thing. It looks like we forgot an S on my email address, Pathfinders.
Oh my gosh, we sure
Yeah.
did. I'm going to
So
correct that and then send it out to everybody. Thank you, Wayne, for seeing
great.
that.
Thanks.
Thank you, Toby.
Do that.
Thank you. She did a great job. Well, hello, everyone. My name is Selma Welsh. I am the Senior Director of Economic Advancement. Very long name, but I work for Ascend, and we were once Wings, and then before that, we were the YWCA of Dallas. So, and I have gone through all three name change. I've been here for I've actually been here for 10 years. So, seen it all. I've partnered a lot of organizations, and so I'm going to kind of share a little bit about who we are as an organization. Share my screen. Okay. Okay, so who is Ascend Dallas? So Ascend Dallas we're a nonprofit dedicated to empowering women and combating poverty and fostering generational change. We're really, like I said, we work in the Dallas-Fort Worth area, most of Dallas to North Dallas area, and we've been here for a while. We've been here actually from 1908, so over 100 years. We were the YWCA, and then we were Wings, and actually it's been a year since we changed our name. And it's because Ascend actually really resonates more than what we're doing. If you wanted to know what Wings stand for, it was actually Women in Need and Generous Services. And to me, I felt like nobody needed me. It's that they don't need us. We're here as a support. So we went through a whole new branding last April, and I'm so happy with our change. Okay, it's gonna work. Okay. So the programs out of Ascend Dallas. So we have actually two main programs out of Ascend Dallas. We have our Nurse Family Partnership, which is also called NFP, and Economic Advancement, which is EA. And Nurse Family Partnership is actually a national branch. What it does, it helps first-time mothers, okay, with their first-time pregnancy, and we connect them with a registered nurse for up to 2 years. Now, there are some income guidelines to that. I can send you that information. Most likely is that if they're on Medicaid or CHIP, they can receive the services. And it's just so neat. I don't have any children, so I imagine having a third party come into your home and try to get yourself and your family the home ready for a pregnancy, especially a first-time pregnancy, how beneficial that will be. They really do that pregnancy process, making sure that you're taking care of yourself, if everything's great. And then they work with the baby, the newborns. They talk about breastfeeding, even what birth control looks after, what is the plan, what are your goals? Now you have this new child, what does life look like for you, or you want to go back to school? There's so much more than just registered nurses. There's social workers, there's supporters, there coaches, they're everything. And then we're up to the Bay for 2 years. So we kind of see we're with Bay for 2 years. So it's a 2-year program. If you want some more information from that, I can definitely send you to myself or send you to the director of NFP, and they can talk more about that. But it's a great program. We connect them with different resources because we understand that pregnancy can be scary. We do really serve a lot of young moms, so really trying to walk them along that process. Now, economic advancement, my baby. So economic advancement actually has two sub divisions. We have our finance, and then we have our career. So our financial is mostly one-on-one personalized financial coaching and financial education. Okay, so with that, we do all topics, and we'll talk about what financial coaching is in a bit, but we do all financial topics with certified trained financial coaches. And then we have our career side, which we've always dabbed in career, but now we're really prevalent in the career. We understand that sometimes you have to have a better career to get your finances in order. Either they're going to decrease expenses or increase your income, right? It's either or one of those. So what we on our team, we also have our career services, and what our career services has is classes, a lot of classes, one-on-one personalized career coaching, and career navigation. And what career navigation is that we actually have 2 staff available to actually work with partners in the community, saying banking partners, all types of hiring partners, logistics, medical, healthcare, all those. And what they're doing is that they are getting a list of jobs and a list of partners that when we have a client that say, I'm really interested in the banking field, that we can go and say, hey, we have a partner, we can connect you with them, right? We're not saying you're going to get the job, but maybe it's a side door. It's not the regular door that everyone goes through. So we're really on those partnerships with our career navigation programs, or connecting them to vocational programs or education programs to further their learning. So that's a little bit about EA. All of our services are no cost to the community. We a lot of our services are usually done virtually, phone, email, in person. It depends on what the client would like to see. So how do you refer to Ascend Dallas? So there's a few things. So I know a few organizations, we already have a referral process where I can do create a referral link for your organization to send. And what we do is that your case managers, the case managers can just send to the referral, and then we can take it from there. Okay, we'll reach out to them. So if that's something that you would like from us, we can definitely set that up. It's quite easy. All we need is the basic information, and then we set up the clients. After that, we can also do on our website, the client or the case manager can just schedule on their own. We do have our website at ascenddallas.org is a scheduling for coaching. You can decide if you want to do it in person, virtually, financial coaching, career coaching, or maybe both. And you decide. So the client or the case manager can schedule that on their own if that's best. Or phone or email. Call me, text me, email me. Hey, Selma, I have a client. My client Josie, she's really interested in coaching. Can you reach out to her? Or, maybe it's a warm handoff. Okay. I think warm handoffs are wonderful, saying, hey, here's our client, and then we can connect you. So there's multiple ways you can get a hold of me, or you can use the link, or we can schedule a we can do an organization referral system, whatever easiest to you that can remove any barriers. So what we're going to talk about, so that's really about Ascend. We're very similar to Pathfinders, and we'll talk more about that in a second. But we're going to kind of talk about what is financial coaching. I'm kind of probably being Marcella and weighing into this conversation, so please feel to jump in if I'm missing anything. So what is really truly financial coaching? So financial coaching is 101. It's 101 goal-driven process where you support individuals in building their knowledge, confidence, and habits. So unlike counseling or case management, coaching is client-led, right? The client tells us what they want to work on. It's not our agenda. So that's important to know. That's a little bit different from counseling and coaching. Case management, that it's really the client that I really want to work on my debt at the moment. I really want to work on savings. I really want to work on credit. It's what they want, what their goal is, and it's their agenda. Okay, the clients they're setting goals. We guide them in taking realistic steps towards their goals. So sometimes we have to put our education hat on, right? If you're going to, and Wayne and Marcella, if you're going to max out your credit card, this is what's going to happen, right? This is the truth. Now, if they want to max them out, it's their life. They know their life's the best, but we try to give them the most education we can. If they're going to send a resume with lots of misspelling words, grammatical errors, this is what's going to happen, okay? So most likely you're not going to get that job. Most likely it's going to go to the ATS system and get thrown away. So we kind of have this conversation, but we really put those education hat, okay? Our role as a coach is to ask questions, ask thought-provoking, powerful questions. We want to pull back the layers, okay? Why are you doing this? What happened, right? What's working? What's not working? What do you like? What don't you like about your finances or your career? What is going on? What have you done in the past? What have you done in, what worked? What did work? What didn't work? Is this a good time to talk about this as a subject? Do we need other resources at the moment to be able to help you at this time? We provide tools. We love our budget sheets. We love our, I call it our next step assignments to get them. We're really there to help them build a long-term capability. I always say, and I don't know if this is good or bad, but I want my clients or clients I work with to say, I don't need Selma anymore. I've got the tools, the knowledge, the support. I want them to be like, so I'm going to come to you maybe every once a month just to check in, to see how things are going, how are things, but I don't want them to rely on me, after a time. I want them to build their own their long-term capacity and capability. I want them to learn this and keep using it and teach their children, teach their friends. Anything else about really what coaching is? So what is really financial coaching, right? Sometimes, people ask us, y'all are advisors, y'all are counselors. No, coaching is different. Remember, it's client-led. We're really asking thought-provoking questions. We're really asking them what they want to do, right? I don't have the agenda, they have the agenda. So it's, like I said, it's a client-driven process to build financial skills, confidence, and resilience, right? Just like Toby mentioned, we're really there to set and reaching financial goals. And that can be small. That could be saying, hey, I want to take a summer trip, or hey, or something big, like I want to buy a home, right? Making big goals, but setting them in small things. If you want to buy a home, what's the first step we got to take? Well, the first step could be even, hey, I got to talk to my family about I wanted to buy a home. I got to pull my credit. It could be something, or it could be something bigger. It's looking, hey, I want to find a real estate agent. I want to find something in this market or this area, the Dallas-Fort Worth area. Understanding improving credit, just like with Pathfinders, we also work at Ascend with credit. We have a credit building tool similar to other organizations that help those that are unscored. Managing debt, really managing and trying, debt's so stressful and it can be so hard on someone. So really managing the expectation, how do you manage that stress, helping you navigate, helping you set up a plan, helping you even talking to creditors and being a support system. We're not going to do the work for you, but we're going to be that support system for you. We're going to be there. Yes, you can. I'll sit right next to you when we're calling the creditors, or we can look at this together. We can read it together. We know it's going to be, you're doing the work, but we're going to be walking along with you. Building savings. We also have a match savings account. So savings for big goals, savings for assets, savings for smaller items, saving for that thinking plan. We know we're going to have to get new tires soon, so let's save that. We know we're going to have to get a new registration ticket, a sticker for our car, so saving for those items. So small to even big. Financial habits, right? Getting in a habit of tracking your expenses, getting in a habit of checking your money, getting in a habit, not being afraid to open your bank account, right? We want them to be like, I'm not afraid that I spent some money this weekend. I can look at it. I can reflect on that. And then asset building. One of my biggest things, asset building, right? Wealth building. How do we move forward? How do we say that I have assets to my name, that I'm building wealth, for my generation, my children, for my friends, for my family. So that's kind of what financial coaching is, right? So how is financial coaching different? Okay, so there's financial coaching versus financial counseling. Now, I hear the words intertwined a lot, right? But I'm going to tell you a little bit myself. I have a background in coaching and I'm certified as a coach, and we're really against those two words. But really, financial coaching is long-term client-led behavior focus. We're really strengths. What do they do really well to help them with something that maybe they're not as great about? They're really on time. They're always on time to my meetings. Okay, how do we use that on time capability to help them maybe be on time with their bills or making on-time payments? So we'll use the skills. And counseling is very short-term. It's counselor-led and issue-focused. Counseling is like, how do I solve this problem? Okay, we really believe there's not a problem. Okay, we're not there to solve a problem. We're there to, change the behavior. Think of the stages of behavior. Originally, how do you stay on track? How do you stay on those behaviors? But counseling is more of that. Hey, let's solve this problem. What happened in the past? What happened in the past is why you're doing this. In coaching, I like to say we don't look at the past. The past is the past. We're not going to should on ourselves. No, shoulda, coulda, woulda, right? I shouldn't have done that. So we're really, focus on the future. We're focused on how do I do something that maybe I didn't do in the past, but now I can do better this time. So the connection to survivors of domestic violence and how working with financial coaching. So we understand that survivors, those of domestic violence, face many obstacles, right? Not just emotionally or physically, but also financial. So that financial abuse, okay? Maybe there was somebody controlled their money, the caress debt, like we're all here with the Texas Appleseed. So maybe there's debt that's been there that they didn't take out and now they're reliable for the loss of income house, right? Maybe they weren't working, or maybe didn't have the money they used to have, and now they have to start over. House instability of housing. So coaching helps rebuild financial control and confidence. So we're there. I worked with many different organizations with domestic violence survivors, and it's like, hey, I have to open a checking account. So it could be something very small as I need to open my first checking account, never done that before, or I've never had to pay bills for myself. So really, really like seeing what they need help with. And so in coaching, we kind of even start small about like, okay, what are those small things? Or even just talking about finances. Maybe they've never had a conversations about their finances in the past. So we understand that it can take time. So how does financial coaching help, right? You know, rebuilding credit and disputing inaccurate items, right? That's probably my favorite thing is credit. I love looking at credit reports and trying to see how do we get this credit report, rebuild this credit from what the past looks like. We create budgets aligned with life goals. My budget is different than what Wayne's budget is, right? Or what Toby's budget is. We have different lives. We have different responsibilities. Our life goals are different. So there's not a one size all, like Toby said, of a budget of what works for you. We address debt, including that, that wasn't our fault. Okay, we understand that happens. We plan for the future, right? Education, housing, career. We're really looking what the future holds for us, and we're kind of there, emotionally supportive or trauma informed as a coach. So trauma-informed financial coaching, right? Or every empath and non-judgment. That's one thing about coaching. I will let you know, I have seen it all. I've heard it all. I've also made mistakes. Okay. I always talk about how when I maxed out my first credit card because I had no clue when I first got my credit card, or when I first got student loans, I took out the 10,000 when I only needed 5,000. I'm still paying for those drinks and those Forever 21 shirts that I have no clue where they're at, right? Many years ago, right? And how that we made mistakes. We understand we're human. And I'm not here to say that I'm better than anybody else when it comes to my finances. We're all doing this together. We really prioritize client safety and control. The client tells us we're not going to push things. We're not going to ask more questions that they're not comfortable answering at the moment. We're really going to, build that rapport before we start pulling back those layers, ask more. We understand the emotional impact of money after trauma. I understand, right? I might never been there before, but I understand what it's going for. I understand that you might not the client might not know all the answers at that moment, or the client doesn't know, and that's okay. And we can figure that out together. And clients, they set the pace and goals. If we're moving too fast, if we're moving too slow, they really tell us. Or maybe it's not a good time. And one of my favorite things is that I always leave the coaching door open, say you can come to me at any time. Maybe it's not the time. Maybe you got to get through some other things and then come back to us. It is amazing how many people have come back to me years later or months later saying, hey, Selma, I wasn't ready at that time. I'm ready now. So we always say it's up to the client. It's their pace. It's their goals. So what coaches don't do, right? We don't provide, well, at least at my organization, we don't provide financial assistance. I wish I could pay that bill, right? But I can connect you to somebody that does, right? I wish I could I do the housing. I don't provide financial assistance, but if that is something that they need, so then I put on my case manager hat on and said, let me connect you to organization ABC that can help you pay for the bill or for the rent or for the utility assistance, right? Give legal advice. I am not a lawyer. Sometimes I wish I am, but I am not a lawyer. So we work with great organizations like Texas Appleseed, the DVAP, that was volunteer appreciation, volunteer, Texas Legal, all these types of legal services. Because I'm not going to give you legal advice. I will always refer you out. So all my coaches. We don't push specific financial products. That's what's great about us, right? If you go to a bank, most likely, if you go to the bank down the street, they're going to push some type of product on you. Open a savings account, open a credit card, open a loan. And that's not what we do at a nonprofit. So we do not push financial products. And act as the case manager, right? Like I said, it's the client leading the conversations, the client's goals, right? I'm not going to do the work for you, but we can partner up with other organizations that can help you, right? If they need to get benefit, they need to apply for benefits. I'm not going to apply for you, but I can definitely connect you to someone that can help you be applied for those benefits. So, but we can partner with them just like today. So, like I said, partnering with financial coaches. So, referrals are great. We love that referrals. If you would like a referral link created for your organization, we can do that. We have very flexible formats. At Ascend, and I believe also at Pathfinders, we do all of our coaching sessions are either virtual, phone, or in person. We are located, at least at Ascend, we are located at multiple locations. I can send you the list of locations that we're at. We're in North Dallas, East Dallas, West Dallas, and specifically also a lot of South Dallas in the Oak Cliff and the Fair Park area, Pleasant Grove, even the North Dallas at our headquarters, which is off Spring Valley and Midway. Coaches can attend community and shelter outreaches. Invite us, invite me, invite my team to, hey, we're having an event. Can you come set up a table? Especially in the North Dallas area. I don't know, especially in the Dallas area. I know Pathfinders, you're on Fort Worth, so you probably want to stay in the Tarrant County area. So that's a good idea. If it's in Tarrant County, please invite Pathfinders. If it's in Dallas, invite us. Marcella.
Yeah, I was just going to add to that yes, we are always happy to work with partners. And yes, Wayne, I'm going to throw his name out. He is our contact for scheduling the actual coaching series, but we come on site with our partners and can offer the in-person sessions there. We can also do it virtually. We have ways to work with whomever is interested in working with us.
No, that's great. I'm actually excited because I think we really want to remove those barriers, right? And one of the things I said was so great about, and I hate to, the pandemic, there were so many horrible things that happened, but a great thing that happened was we stopped being scared of virtual and phone. I know, when I was a coach, I was like, oh, never doing virtual and phone, only in person, but it got us out of our comfort zone, and that it removes so many barriers now, right? I'm more likely to take, I know my coaches and my team are more likely to take an evening session when it's virtually because they can take it at home or then have to be in person. So being flexible, we're very flexible. We offer evenings and weekend sessions. We understand that, there are people have jobs and other responsibilities and we want to accommodate them in a way. But yes, we love going out to different organizations and being a support to them to remove those barriers. Also, if I come to your organization or a team, we're removing a barrier of that familiarity. It's the client or the survivor might say to themselves, hey, if organization ABC knows Pathfinders and they trust Pathfinders for being here, they trust Ascend, then they're going to trust us as well. Okay, I know I said a lot. I wanted to make sure we get out of here, but I'm open to any questions, discussion, anything like that. Questions?
Folks, does anyone have any questions for Selma about what she just talked about, or Wayne or Marcella about Pathfinders? This is definitely the time. You can come off of mute and ask questions. You can send them in the chat. Whatever is your preferred method. And it's okay if not, but we'll wait a couple seconds just to check. Okay, folks, I think that we are good. We will make sure to share out this presentation after. Someone, if you have any additional resources, well, one, if you could send me the presentation, that'd be great for your portion. And if you have any additional resources, like contact information that you want me to share, I will add that to the email. And if not, y'all are free to hop off. Oh, wait, here, we do have a question. We have a question. Is the Financial Freedom Journey program free for clients?
Definitely, yes. It is at no cost for our clients.
Awesome. So it's at no cost. That's incredible. The work y'all do is amazing.
Thank you.
Yeah, that's both the group sessions and the individual sessions. So
great. Y'all, we will stay on until everybody leaves. And so once people filter out, so if you have a question, but you want to wait till more people have jumped off, feel free to stay behind. If not, thank y'all so much for attending. Selma, can you hit stop recording?